In Chatterbox Gary, SpongeBob acquires a pet translation collar that finally lets his beloved snail Gary speak his mind. Imagine getting one of these for your dog or for your cat or for your hamster. It'd be pretty cool.
Hello there, Papa Bob.
Now, we're gonna get into the Easter eggs. I know that's what you clicked on this video for, but I gotta give you guys the context. That way they make sense. SpongeBob excitedly shows off Gary's new voice to his friends, but when they visit Squidward's house, the real fun begins. Gary surprises Squidward by complimenting his interior decor, revealing that he's actually a really classy snail, you know? He's got a sophisticated sense of design, as Squidward puts it.
Come, Papa Bob. Let's get out of here before this bad taste rubs off on us.
Oh, gee, do you have to?
Don't be sad, Squidward. We'll be back soon.
From here, this is where we get to our first couple of Easter eggs, and they're really, really cool, as this leads to a gallery of in-jokes adorning Squidward's walls. And eagle-eyed fans can definitely spot some of these portraits here and the references that they're referring to. For example, this one right here of handsome Squidward, referencing Squidward's briefly beautified form from the episode The Two Faces of Squidward.
Squidward, you're even more handsome now!
If we keep it moving, in another framed piece, Squidward is shown grappling with a sea bear. And this one is a very specific reference. Like, I really like this one. This one's really cool. It kind of brought back some nostalgia for me, as if we rewind to the episode, the camping episode, where SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward all go camping. There's this scene where Squidward refuses to heed SpongeBob and Patrick's anti-sea bear precautions. And yeah, this happens.
No, like that.
Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, this is a really cool callback. If we head back to Squidward's gallery, there's even this painting of a very specific sculpture. It's right here, I'm circling it, and it's a reference to Squidward's sculpture from the episode Are You Happy Now? Again, here's a side-by-side, and yeah, this one's also really cool. And there's more, so let's keep it going. For example, this image right here references the episode Not Normal, specifically this scene, or how about this one? This one references the episode Gone. Here's a side-by-side with the episode Gone and the picture or the portrait, and as you can see, this is a reference, really cool. There's like 3 or 4 more, but I'll let you guys talk about them in the comments. What other portraits here are references to older SpongeBob episodes? To be honest, you shouldn't even be answering this because you should be sleeping, but if you aren't sleeping, it's okay. You can answer this one, but then go like right back to sleep. Alright? Anyways though, the Easter eggs continue when Gary snoops in Squidward's closet. And guys, this is a big one, especially if you're an old school SpongeBob fan like me. I've been watching this show since I was a little kid, even during the Steven Hillenburg era, and this Easter egg really hit me in the heart. Who remembers the episode Band Geeks? In this one, Squidward's arch rival Squilliam shows up, and things get very competitive between Squidward and Squilliam, with it basically leading to Squidward having to form a band and perform at the Bubble Bowl. Well, take a look at this scene where Gary snoops through Squidward's closet.
Oh, tacky.
Hold on now.
You may have missed it, but look. Hanging inside is Squidward's marching band uniform from that episode, Band Geeks, complete with everything. Like, here's a side-by-side, and this is a very clear reference. It's a blink and you'll miss it tribute to Squidward's triumphant Bubble Bowl performance, and it's pretty awesome. Altogether, Chatterbox Gary cleverly weaves these references into the scene, implying that Squidward has kept memories of his many adventures, from the good to the bad, and even the handsome. But let's keep it moving and head over to another episode. Our next episode is The Donut of Shame, a very short episode from season 5. This bite-sized episode opens with Patrick groggily waking up on SpongeBob's ceiling after what appears to have been a wild night of partying. Who knew that Patrick got so crazy, man? Like, dude was probably staying up all night eating ice cream.
Would you like another spot of tea, Ms. Nibsy? Oh, you would?
From here, Patrick notices SpongeBob still asleep, clutching a delicious-looking donut. A beautiful specimen of donuthood, as Patrick pretty much calls it. Ever impulsive, Patrick liberates the pastry from SpongeBob's hand and sneaks it home for himself. And this is where we can find some Easter eggs, or well, some references. The animators slip in a sweet nod to the show's early days. I'm gonna roll the clip and let's see if you guys can spot it.
A beautiful specimen of donuthood. A donut this nice deserves to be served on fine china.
If you didn't catch it, let me explain. Hanging on Patrick's wall is a framed picture of SpongeBob drawn in his Season 1 art style. This is very important here. It's not a modern looking version of SpongeBob. At the time, this episode was from Season 5, and he doesn't even look like his Season 5 design. It's very clearly his Season 1 design. This deliberate background detail contrasts with the episode's Season 5 visuals, playfully reminding longtime fans of SpongeBob's classic look. Now, aside from that nostalgic little Easter egg, the donut of shame peppers in a couple of other fun touches. For example, the way Patrick awakens in this scene is a spoof of horror film tropes, mirroring a similar scene from Saw of all things. Here is a side-by-side, and what an interesting choice for a children's cartoon. But yeah, some cool little references in this episode and some facts, but let's keep it moving and head over to a different episode. Next up is the episode In Search of Camp Nudist. In this episode, SpongeBob and friends hear a rumor of a secret nudist camp in the woods. Yes, you read that right. So the group set off on a curious quest to find it. SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy tromp through the forest in search of the fabled Camp Nudist, while camp counselors Mr. Krabs and Squidward chase after them in a panic. I mean, they definitely don't want a bunch of kids stumbling onto naked campers, right? As the hike wears on, Squidward grows exhausted, and this is where we could find an Easter egg. In a dramatized moment, Squidward collapses and wheezes for Camp Master Krabs to go on without him, and what follows is a cheeky nod to SpongeBob's own theme song. Mr. Krabs shrugs and immediately marches ahead while whistling this. Roll the clip.
You'll have to go on without me.
Okay.
What? What? Wait, hey, don't leave me alone out here!
It's a blink and you'll miss it Easter egg that longtime viewers instantly recognize, as Mr. Krabs just sang the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song, or at least a very similar version of it. I'm gonna keep these clips short just because I don't want to get destroyed by copyright, but here's like 2 seconds of the SpongeBob theme.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
And if you listen here, Mr. Krabs plays pretty much the same thing. I'm gonna play it again. Here's like 2 seconds of that.
What? Wait, hey!
Really cool, but let's head over to another episode. Just a little reminder that if you're still awake, you should be sleeping. And if you're still awake, you might as well grab your phone and subscribe to us. Please do it. I'm trying to hit 10K and we're really close. So if you enjoy my videos, I'd really appreciate it. At least I'm not like all those other crappy AI SpongeBob channels. I'm a real person. I'm gonna be doing my face reveal soon. This is my actual voice. Blah, 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 blah. There's no AI. All right, go and make AI do that, but I'll do it on camera soon to prove it. But make sure to subscribe, guys. I love you. And back to the video with some more Easter eggs. So the continuity of SpongeBob's universe definitely gets like messed up a little bit in this next episode, Kitchen Sponge. Or maybe it was fixed, depends on who you ask. In this Camp Coral episode, young SpongeBob volunteers to help Plankton, who runs the camp's mess hall. And the goal is for him to help Plankton improve his menu. Disaster strikes in a scene that is very similar to the show's very first episode, Help Wanted. Plankton's kitchen is overrun by a ravenous swarm of fish campers. A chaos that directly references the anchovy feeding frenzy from Help Wanted, the 1999 plot where the Krusty Krab was pretty much attacked by hungry anchovies. Here in Camp Coral, it's a fun reversal. Plankton experiences the same sardine-style stampede that Mr. Krabs once did, a really cool nod to SpongeBob's origin episode. Later, Plankton decides quantity is the answer and concocts an army of Krabby Patty creatures to serve everyone. And this is another reference, as these living patties are nearly identical to the patty monsters from another SpongeBob episode, Dream Hoppers. Here's a side-by-side, and it's not exact, but it's pretty close, and I think this is a reference. In fact, the concept of sentient Krabby Patties causing mischief first appeared in Dream Hoppers, and Kitchen Sponge brings it back, showing Plankton unleashing a legion of googly-eyed burgers. Now I'm hungry. All of this, though, is light compared to this episode's ending, which has a very big moment for SpongeBob continuity. One big debate at this time was how Sandy could have been a part of Camp Coral, right, which is a prequel series to SpongeBob, when there's an entire episode in season 1 of original SpongeBob showing how Sandy and SpongeBob met. And in that episode, it's very clear they've never met before.
So, what's your name?
Sandy?
Well, in the climax of Kitchen Sponge, when SpongeBob inadvertently invents the Krabby Patty's secret formula and nearly changes history, Sandy steps in by literally calling her future self. In a sci-fi twist, adult Sandy appears via video to her younger self, congratulating her on a successful plan to keep the formula out of Plankton's hands.
Affirmative, little cheeks. This is Big Cheeks, receiving you from the future. The formula burned out before Mr. Plankton could nab it. Now it can be safely rediscovered in the future. I knew sending you to Camp Coral was the right thing to do.
Okay, so this is important. That clip right here implies that Camp Coral exists in an alternate timeline, where Camp Coral is still canon and is still a prequel, but because it's in an alternate timeline, it explains how SpongeBob meets adult Sandy in the original SpongeBob show, but also already knew her back in Camp Coral. This is a very complicated one. I hope you guys got it, but yeah, it's really cool. By having future Sandy orchestrate the events, the show winks at viewers and suggests the following. The original series and Camp Coral now diverge into separate universes. It's pretty cool, but as you guys know, let's head over to another episode. Mr. Krabs has quite the misadventure in the episode My Two Krabses from season 12. It all starts with Mr. Krabs sneaking in a tanning session without his shell in his office before a date with Mrs. Puff. It's crazy to think that these two have been like on and off dating since like season 2 or 3, but anyways, eventually SpongeBob walks in to deliver some ice cream, but instead of finding Mr. Krabs, he only finds this.
Mr. Krabs, are you okay? Speak to me.
We're gonna get into the Easter eggs, don't worry, but you guys need the context of the plot for them to make sense. But from here, SpongeBob literally assumes that Mr. Krabs has melted.
Oh, look at that. And right before his big date tonight. What a shame.
A date? Oh, must love die meltily in my arms too.
In a panic, SpongeBob and Patrick take the empty shell, determined to basically bring Mr. Krabs back to life, Frankenstein style. Meanwhile, the real and shellless Krabs realizes his shell is missing and rushes home to find something or anything to wear, really. And this is where we can find a really cool Easter egg. As he flings open his bedroom closet, and in this frantic scene, the show sneaks in a treasure from Mr. Krabs' past. I'm gonna play the clip and let's see if you guys can spot the Easter egg.
Okay, I knew that spare is in here somewhere. Aha!
Let me explain. So among the tossed outfits is this bright pink flower print cuddly crab uniform, and this is specifically from the episode Bossy Boots, a season 2 episode. Longtime fans will recall that in this episode, Mr. Krabs briefly transformed the Krusty Krab into the cutesy cuddly crab. Well, actually, it was more that Pearl did this. Mr. Krabs was kind of just forced to do it, and as you can see in this clip I'm about to play, they had to wear these exact same outfits.
Only a fool would wear that.
Avast, ye shipmates! Don't these just shiver your timbers?
Seeing this ridiculous attire resurface here, only to be deemed unwearable by Mr. Krabs, is a delightful Easter egg. It confirms that Mr. Krabs hung on to the old uniform, and it adds a layer of irony to his wardrobe scramble. But the closet gag doesn't stop there. Mr. Krabs also tosses out a chicken costume, the same one that SpongeBob once wore in the episode Cephalopod Lodge. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, I think that that's a reference. And we've got more. Let's head over to another episode. We've talked about SpongeBob in this video, we've also talked about Camp Coral, but let's talk about the Patart Star Show, more specifically the episode Bummer Jobs. In this one, the Patart Star Show delivers a flurry of SpongeBob callbacks. Just to give you guys some context of what this episode is about though, it's pretty much about Patrick and SpongeBob looking to get a job. Patrick wants to find his purpose in life, and this turns into him looking for a job. We see their struggle of going through different types of day jobs. For example, they work as grocery baggers at a grocery store and unfortunately get fired. From here, they look for another job. As they pick themselves up, still enthusiastic, they see an old lady struggling to paint her fence. Now, if we rewind back to the episode Idiot Box, there's this scene, and it's a very iconic one where SpongeBob uses his hands to draw a rainbow and says the word
imagination.
Well, this is referenced like 20 plus years later in Bummer Jobs, as when SpongeBob and Patrick go to help that old lady, he does a very similar gesture. I love this so much. You guys know I'm like a massive nerd when it comes to the Steven Hillenburg era. I always ramble on about it in these videos, so any reference to, you know, a season 1, 2, or 3 episode, especially Idiot Box, is gonna warm my heart. And we've got more. Who remembers the episode Sailor Mouth? We've talked about this one many times before, but in this episode, Patrick and SpongeBob learn to swear, and they're taught not to. But the main thing here, as you guys know already, is whenever SpongeBob characters swear in SpongeBob, they make this sound effect.
There are 13 bad words you should never use.
Don't you mean there are only 7?
Not if you're a sailor.
Wow, 13.
That's a lot of bad words.
Well, at one point in Bummer Jobs, listen to what the porpoise says, as it sounds very similar to bad word number 11.
Let me go, you little...
Hey, watch your language.
Did you hear that? It happens closer to the ending of the episode, and that is 100% a reference to Sailor Mouth. So that's 2 classic episodes referenced in one The Patrick Star Show episode. People like to talk smack about The Patrick Star Show, but this is really good. Like, this is a good sign that the writers actually are passionate and know what they're talking about. But yeah, I've got one more Easter egg from this episode, and it happens in this next scene. In a hilarious segment, Squidina rolls out a TV and says it's time for some noir sense.
While they're taking a break, let's all watch another hard-boiled episode of Noir Sense.
Suddenly, we're now in a black and white detective parody where Fred the Fish is being interrogated. And if you listen to what he says, it's a very clear reference to, I mean, his entire character. This is the whole point of Fred the Fish at this point in the show, is to scream the following. This is a brilliant send-up of the running gag, my leg, usually heard whenever Fred gets hurt in classic episodes. For example, here's like a couple of times in older episodes where we hear him say it. Here's a little compilation, a little montage.
My leg! My leg!
Thank you!
My leg! My leg!
It is crazy how many things they hide in these SpongeBob episodes, how many references there are to older episodes, and I love it. Our next episode is Call the Cops from season 11. This episode flips the script by putting SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs on the other side of the law. Plankton actually gets himself arrested after yet another failed formula theft, and the secret formula is locked up at the Bikini Bottom police station as evidence. To retrieve it, Mr. Krabs convinces SpongeBob to go undercover as police officers and infiltrate the station, a recipe for hilarious antics.
Have you got a license to sell these cookies?
Officer SquarePants, I don't think we ought to...
Let me handle this, Officer Mr. Krabs.
I don't have a license.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
As soon as they step into the station lobby, the background art delivers clever gags. For one, there's a framed photo of a donut on the wall, poking fun at the classic trope that cops love donuts, but right beside that is a wanted poster bearing a very familiar face, that of the Tattletale Strangler. I love references like this. Fans will remember this villain from SpongeBob Meets the Strangler, a legendary, iconic episode, and apparently the Bikini Bottom PD is still on the lookout for him. The fact that his wanted poster appears here is a continuity nod, as if the events of that episode have been filed in police records. And the station's back room holds another Easter egg for the observant. Pinned up on the wall is a wanted poster for another iconic SpongeBob villain. Roll the clip and I'll let you guys catch it.
You can interrogate the suspect.
I don't know how to interrogate.
Then just ask questions.
Come on, you guys gotta know this one. That's Dennis, the fearsome hitman from the original 2004 SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Name's Dennis. I've been hired to exterminate you.
Dennis's rugged mug is instantly recognizable, connecting the series to the first movie storyline even more. These background posters subtly expand the world building, implying that all of these notorious baddies share the same criminal universe. Really cool stuff. This next episode finally brought Gary the Snail to Camp Coral, and with him comes a barrel of references spanning the SpongeBob universe. In our next episode, Camper Gary, SpongeBob discovers his pet snail has stowed away at camp. Rather than send Gary home, SpongeBob disguises him as a new camper to keep him hidden from the staff. particularly from Mrs. Puff, who turns out to hate snails, which is kind of weird because she literally has a snail in the episode The Sponge Who Can Fly. Like, SpongeBob helps save her snail, so this is a little bit of a continuity error, but anyways, the premise of this episode alone parallels a classic SpongeBob plot. It's essentially the summer camp equivalent of My Pretty Seahorse, where SpongeBob hid his pet seahorse mystery at the Krusty Krab.
SpongeBob, thanks for finally getting rid of that horse.
You're welcome, Mr. Krabs. It worked, girl. I'll just keep you back here until Patrick finishes that stable I asked him to build.
Years later, in Camper Gary, we see SpongeBob do something very similar to that scene from My Pretty Seahorse. As a matter of fact, the entire plot of this episode is very similar, which a lot of people think is a reference. Here's another Easter egg though. Of course, Gary eventually runs loose, and Mrs. Puff goes into full monster hunter mode, chasing the beast snail haunting the camp. She doesn't even realize that it's Gary and actually thinks that there's a real threat here. But in a very funny twist, during the chaos, Mrs. Puff offhandedly mentions the following line, and if you listen closely, this is a reference.
Mama always said I'd go out like this. Oh well, better than being dragged back to prison.
As you heard right there, Mrs. Puff refers to being dragged back to prison. And this is a reference to the fact that Mrs. Puff has gone to prison many times in original SpongeBob. For example, in No Free Ride, she goes to jail. So it's very in character that even years before original SpongeBob in the prequel show, she had already been to jail. It seems to be a running theme in her life. There are some more Easter eggs in this episode, and I'm gonna rapid fire them. They're really cool. For one, if you look closely in SpongeBob's bunk, there's this poster right here of Mermaid Man on the wall. We also see a jar of mayonnaise amongst SpongeBob and Patrick's belongings, perhaps a wink at the famous "is mayonnaise an instrument" joke, since what camper packs mayo for a trip? Only Patrick would do that, I mean, come on. And if you look closely right here, we can find canned bread again. We've talked about this in a previous Easter egg video, and if you guys remember back in the episode Squidville, okay, where Squidward moves to go and live in like a town where it's all people exactly like him, he finds one of his favorite things that he's always been looking for.
Canned bread! This town is great!
So yeah, this is a really cool Easter egg and shows that whoever wrote this episode knows their lore. This is like a deep cut of a reference, canned bread, really cool. Let's keep it moving though. It turns out that Patrick Star sometimes needs a break, or so he decides in the episode Patrick's Staycation. Feeling overworked from his grueling routine of sleeping and snacking every day, probably just chilling at home in his rock playing Fortnite. This guy has no life. I love Patrick, but seriously, I've watched almost every episode of the show, and Patrick is one of the laziest characters ever. But yeah, despite being the laziest character ever, Patrick longs for a vacation, but he can't afford one. Going on vacation's really expensive. You gotta pay for your flight, you gotta book a hotel, it's pricey. So enter SpongeBob, ever the problem solver, who comes up with the idea to give Patrick a luxury staycation right at home. As I always say, don't worry, I'm gonna get to the Easter eggs soon, I just gotta explain all this, that way they make sense. Now eventually, we get a scene where Patrick plans his fake vacation, and it takes place at the Bikini Bottom travel agency, and it hides a fun visual reference.
So, you'd like a vacation?
Oh, great! Another thing for me to do.
Yes, he'd like a vacation.
It all depends on your budget.
On the travel agent's wall, SpongeBob and Patrick admire a framed photo of a fancy cruise ship. But this isn't just any old cruise, it actually foreshadows the very cruise ship that'll appear in this episode's sequel episode, Walking the Plankton. That's the same ship. Walking the Plankton's like the next episode after Patrick's Staycation, so this is an interesting Easter egg. It's not what we would normally cover, but it's interesting. In Walking the Plankton, Plankton lures Mr. Krabs onto a luxury ocean liner as part of a scheme. So the travel agency's glamorous cruise poster is effectively an Easter egg planting the idea. It's a clever bit of continuity between the back-to-back episodes, and it's something that SpongeBob's never really done before. There isn't usually continuity between episodes like this, so yeah, it's interesting. Our next episode is Cabin of Curiosities. On a dark and stormy night at Camp Coral, SpongeBob and Patrick stumble upon a creepy cabin filled with even creepier kid campers. In one of them is a familiar fiend from SpongeBob's past, or I guess his future, albeit in a pint-sized form. Cabin of Curiosities plays out like a kid-friendly horror homage, as our heroes meet a gang of monster kids in the woods.
You are either very brave
or very foolish to venture into this dark domain.
Foolish! Definitely foolish!
Jake?
Yes, we are.
My name is Predatori. That is my web. I spun it this morning.
The star of these odd campers is Kid Furatsu, who, as his punny name definitely implies, is the child version of the iconic SpongeBob character and just classic horror character in general, Nosferatu. It's crazy that Nosferatu is like literally like a canon SpongeBob character. Like, he's appeared on screen many times in the show. I mean, I guess this one technically isn't actually an Easter egg if Nosferatu is a regular character now. Camp Coral is a prequel show and shows a lot of the characters' younger forms, so I guess it makes sense that we would see Nosferatu's kid form, but I do think that this overall is a cool little homage at the very least. So who here is familiar with this character? This character is named Granny, and she along with Miss Grusselpuss are both pretty rare in terms of incidentals. They don't show up very often. Well, they make a slight cameo in the episode Grandma's Secret Recipe, as both characters appear while SpongeBob and Great Grandma are knitting. This isn't necessarily the most mind-blowing Easter egg or cameo, I'll admit, but hey, it's pretty cool. In the episode Squeaky Boots, Mr. Krabs begins to freak out when he can't escape the sound of, well, squeaking. This drives our favorite crab crazy and gives us this scene where Mr. Krabs turns blue and begins to hear and see the word squeak everywhere. He has a total meltdown.
Could the world's greatest fry cook do this? And 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 this?
Well, this scene seems to be directly referenced in the episode Plankton Paranoia, with this scene. Instead of Mr. Krabs freaking out about hearing or seeing the word squeaks, he's tripping out over plankton. Something absolutely terrible happens in the season 4 episode, All That Glitters. SpongeBob breaks his favorite spatula, and as you can imagine, this really ruins SpongeBob's day. Don't worry though, at the very end of the episode, we get this hilarious scene of SpongeBob being reunited with his old friend, and the episode ends with everything back to normal. Now the Easter egg in question we found during this scene, and it has to do with everyone's favorite incidental, Fred. If you're a true SpongeBob fan, you'll know that this isn't the first time we've seen Fred in this outfit, as it's actually a reference to the outfit he wears in the classic season 3 episode, One Crab's Trash. The episode, 20,000 Patties Under the Sea, has an Easter egg in its title. For those who may not know, the title is a reference to a Julie Verne novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's not the only Easter egg present in this episode though. The con man from the episode Chocolate with Nuts is back again, and he cons SpongeBob and Patrick once more. Now after he cons SpongeBob and Patrick, he says, "Hey, thanks again guys." This means he remembers the characters from the last time he conned them. Another cool thing you may not have known about this episode is that Gene Simmons from the band Kiss plays the sea monster in the episode. Pretty cool. Next up is the episode The Jellyfish Kid, and this is actually the very first episode of Camp Coral, a 3D animated SpongeBob spin-off that I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. I'm not the biggest fan of this show, I'm not gonna lie. I think the Patrick Star Show is much better, but you're not here for my opinion, you're here for Easter eggs, and there are some really cool references in this episode. For one, if we take a look at this scene and we pause at the right frame right here, we'll notice that there's this photo on Mr. Krabs' drawer. And if we zoom in, we'll see that it's him holding Pearl as a baby. Now, if this shot looks familiar, it's because this photo is a direct reference to an older SpongeBob episode. If we rewind all the way back to the episode Selling Out, we can find this exact same photo right here. Let's do a side by side. Yeah, this is a reference, and a really cool reference. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Camp Coral, but I love that this reference is here. But there's also more. One of my favorite episodes is the classic SpongeBob episode Sailor Mouth, where SpongeBob and Patrick come across swear words and they start swearing. Something they shouldn't do, you know, they shouldn't be swearing.
Hi, Squidward! How the are ya?
Nice Hey, isn't it, Squidward?
Every time they swear, though, it's referred to having a sailor's mouth, and this is also referenced in the Jellyfish Kid. In Camp Coral, it's basically like a summer camp, right? So every person has their own dorm, and in SpongeBob's dorm, we see this list of rules right here. And as you can see, one of the rules is no sailor mouth, making for another really cool reference. In the episode Tag Your It, it's a rainy day at Camp Coral, which means everybody can't really play outside. I mean, you could, but you're gonna get wet. It's better to avoid it. So everybody finds a way to entertain themselves indoors, specifically with a crazy game of tag. It's an all right episode, but what we're really here for, guys, you guys know what we're really here for, and it's Easter eggs. And the first one can be found during this scene where we see Sandy flush her helmet almost like it's a toilet or a drain. If that looks familiar, it's because this is another direct reference, okay? This is a direct reference to OG SpongeBob, specifically the episode Texas. In this episode, Sandy starts missing her home state of Texas, and she gets very emotional. We get a couple scenes of her crying, and in one scene, she has to empty out her water bowl. Roll the clip. This is kind of like a deep cut reference, and it's cool to see that the creators of Camp Coral also knew to include this type of stuff. And there's more in Tag Your It. I really like this one, but if we go to the point in the episode about 13 minutes in and 40 seconds, if we pause at the right frame, you'll notice that there's a jar of mayo on Patrick's shelf. And this is most likely a reference to him asking if mayonnaise is an instrument in Band Geeks. Patrick seems to have some sort of obsession with mayo, which is also why it might be there. But yeah, who knew that Camp Coral actually had some cool Easter eggs like this? In the season 16 episode Pigskin Pearl, Pearl Krabs joins her high school football team and unexpectedly becomes their new star player, leading Bikini Bottom High into a championship game. I personally really like episodes like this because they're not as focused on SpongeBob and are giving other characters a chance to shine, like Pearl. This has actually happened a couple of times now. Like, we had a whole episode Mall Girl Pearl, which was all about Pearl getting a job at the mall. I think SpongeBob only appears for like a second in that episode, and there's plenty of others, but this episode in particular celebrates Pearl's athletic prowess, while SpongeBob and Patrick enthusiastically cheer her on from the sidelines. As the game unfolds, the animators slip in nods to earlier SpongeBob adventures that eagle-eyed fans will definitely recognize. For instance, when Patrick scrambles up the towering bleachers to reach the announcer's booth, he suddenly dons a familiar getup, a Swiss mountaineer's outfit complete with an alpine hat and gear. Does this look familiar to you guys? Longtime viewers will remember Patrick wearing a nearly identical Swiss mountain climbing outfit back in the season 3 episode New Student Starfish, during this gag right here.
Coming, SpongeBob!
It seems the Pigskin Pearl team gave Patrick's old costume a bit of a redesign here, but the homage is definitely clear. Another fun reference comes via Pearl's fearsome opponents in the episode. I mean, just listen to this clip right here and listen to what they call the rival football team, like the team's name.
The New Kelp City Delinquents. Their entire team has been held back in school for decades.
As you just heard, the rival football team is called the New Kelp City Delinquents, a team name that in itself is an Easter egg. New Kelp City is a location introduced in the special SpongeBob episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, also known as Who Bob What Pants, which is actually a much cooler title. But yeah, this is the first time we heard of New Kelp City.
Citizens of New Kelp, come out of the shadows! 'Cause Cheese Boy kicked the bubble poppin' gang right out of town!
This is an historic day for New Kelp City. You have rid this city of the bubble poppin' boys.
It's a rare location that is very rarely brought up, and originally was kind of exclusive to Whatever Happened to SpongeBob. The location was made just so that SpongeBob could go missing and end up in New Kelp City. So it's really cool to see it referenced in season 16 so many years later. This is like a deep cut. Also, by naming the rival football team after that city, the episode is like subtly connecting Pearl's high school sports story to SpongeBob's broader universe. And again, I've said this in the past couple of Easter egg videos, this is something Nickelodeon has been doing a ton in season 16. But yeah, let's keep it going. There's some more Easter eggs in this episode. So the climax of Pigskin Pearl delivers perhaps the most heartwarming one though. When Pearl is down and doubting herself, SpongeBob steps in to give her a confidence boost. And if you take a look at this clip, it's somewhat of a reference to an older SpongeBob episode.
You look nervous. I'm gonna share a special cheer with you. My grandma taught it to me. When days are tough and things go bad, grandmas help you not feel sad. Remember to just be you.
As you just seen, SpongeBob performs a sweet cheer that Grandma SquarePants taught him, advising Pearl to just be you when times are tough. Well, this entire scene mirrors an older scene from the episode Rock Bottom. Now, they're not identical, but it's more the fact of SpongeBob quoting something from his grandmother. Take a look at the clip and you'll see what I mean.
I guess Grandpa SquarePants was right. Don't run for a bus. Especially one that's going up at a 90-degree angle.
If you listen closely, SpongeBob does that same high-pitched voice that he did in Pigskin Pearl, showing that these two are a little bit of a reference. Either way, the fact that Grandma SquarePants was brought up in general is somewhat of a cool reference. She isn't in the show very often anymore and had a big appearance back in the episode Grandma's Kisses. She was actually a lot more present if you remember, like back in season 1, 2, and 3, so seeing her being referenced in season 16 is really cool. Okay, so let's talk about the season 16 episode, Pardon My Wand, as this episode has a ton of Easter eggs and they're all really interesting. But first, let me give you guys a little bit of context, that way the Easter eggs actually make sense. But yeah, in this one, SpongeBob gets this magic wand right here, and I mean, just think about it for a second. This is the same dude that when he became hall monitor at school, started walking around thinking he was a cop causing car accidents. SpongeBob and having the ability of magic is kind of a bad mix. It's an entertaining mix, it makes for a really good episode, but you guys know that SpongeBob is about to cause freaking mayhem.
What if we just cure your hiccups instead? I'll get you some water.
That'll fix it.
Okay, now you guys know the premise of the episode and we can get into the Easter eggs. And this first one is a really good one. You do have to be a SpongeBob nerd to get it. I'm gonna play the clip and let's see if you guys can spot the Easter egg, and then I'll come back in and I'll explain it. Okay, so who remembers the episode Hocus Pocus? This episode is like nearly 20 years old. It came out in 2007 in season 4. And in this episode, we were introduced to this place, the 1942 Wizard Street. And we were also introduced to Mr. Magic.
But what if I told you that you could change all that with the magic of magic?
Yeah, this guy right here. Now, we haven't seen Mr. Magic or that castle I was just talking about since Hocus Pocus, so it's been like nearly 19 years. But randomly, somebody decided to include it in this new SpongeBob episode, Pardon My Wand, right here. But it's a little different now. It seems that it's been redesigned and rebranded as Mr. Magic's Magic Shop. Like, it actually has a name now. And it seems to be a magician's performance venue. Also, we don't see Mr. Magic in the episode, but he cameos on the sign right here. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, really cool. I'm gonna move on to another one, but I really want to highlight this one's really random. Hocus Pocus isn't some iconic episode. It's a great episode, but it isn't like Eels and Escalators, the board game from Sailor Mouth. It isn't like that appearing in a newer episode. This one means that whoever wrote this episode went back and they did their research. However, this next Easter egg is a reference to like an iconic episode, Tea at the Tree Dome, which was Sandy's first ever appearance back in the day.
So, what's your name?
Sandy. So, what do y'all call yourself? I'm SpongeBob!
Canonically, they've completely changed this now, especially with Camp Coral, as Sandy literally appears in Camp Coral, despite being seen literally meeting SpongeBob for the first time in Tea at the Tree Dome. But anyways, I want you guys to remember this orange bird right here that appears in this bird bath in Tea at the Tree Dome, as it's probably going to help you spot this next Easter egg. Roll the clip.
We gotta handle this enchanted doohickey real delicate like.
Yeah, this cutie reappears in Pardon My Wand for the first time in a long time. But it's really cool to see this character that's really never appeared since Tea at the Tree Dome reappear in this episode. It's very clearly a deliberate reference, and I freaking love these. In the episode Terror on Tape, the Star family spend a spooky day watching a collection of haunted VHS tapes, a collection that they got from the Flying Dutchman. Again, this is really cool, another example of them kind of building up the SpongeBob world and bringing it all together. together. Back in the day, if you guys remember, the Flying Dutchman was like a rare character. Like, it's not like he never appeared, but he didn't appear in every episode, and he wasn't a background character. If he did appear, he was a big part of the plot. So it's cool to see that he's just like a normal character in this episode. But anyways, this episode goes on to essentially be an anthology of mini horror spoofs, with each cursed take telling a different creepy tale, starring Patrick and his family. The episode crams in homages to famous horror tropes, and even a legendary sound effect, one that only sharp-eared and sharp-eyed fans will catch. During a chaotic scene, a hapless background fish falls overboard from the ship Fancy, and take a listen to what happens next.
We're off the menu!
If you've heard that little scream before, it's because it's a very iconic sound effect, the Wilhelm scream. The scream, a classic stock sound effect used in countless films since the 1950s, is a beloved inside joke among sound editors and movie buffs. And hearing it pop in Patrick's haunted tape is a treat for fans. But yeah, its appearance in Terror on Tape is both a cheeky nod to horror cinema and a self-aware gag about the rarity of that scream in the series. But let's keep it going, there's more. Each cursed tape Patrick watches is a send-up of a different horror genre, and the episode's artists take the opportunity to reference a beloved horror anthology film. Slayground is presented in a vivid, stylized color scheme that horror fans might find familiar. In fact, the color design of the Slayground, with its lurid reds, deep blues, and comic book style shading, is directly inspired by the 1982 horror comedy film Creepshow. Creepshow, directed by George Romero and written by Stephen King, used bold comic book panel visuals and dramatic lighting to emulate old EC horror comics. And Terror on the Tape lovingly imitates that look. In Slayground, when Patrick and Squidina explore a cursed playground, the frames occasionally freeze into drawn comic panels with saturated colors and eerie lighting, just as Creepshow did. And yeah, this is a really good episode, especially if you're a fan of like Halloween and horror. I know it isn't very fitting right now. Go give the episode a watch, it's a good one. In the episode Pardon My Wand, another one from season 16, by the way, let me know what you guys think in the comments about season 16. I feel like there's been some really good episodes this season. But yeah, in this episode, SpongeBob comes into possession of a misplaced magician's wand. And of course, as you can imagine, SpongeBob doesn't give it back. He proceeds to cause absolute magical mayhem across Bikini Bottom, just like he does in this clip right here. Roll it.
Gary, did you redecorate the living room while I was out?
This episode is jam-packed with rapid-fire gags, as SpongeBob accidentally transforms and enchants everything in sight. And many of those gags are sly callbacks to SpongeBob's past antics. The first Easter egg appears on stage, including a very large snail with a bushy brown body. Longtime fans may recognize this creature as the elephant snail from the episode Don't Feed the Clowns, a one-off character from that episode. In that episode, the elephant snail was a circus animal that roared like an elephant and balanced on a beach ball. Well, Pardon My Wand brings the elephant snail back for an encore, making for a really cool Easter egg, as this character has not been seen since, and I don't think he's going to be seen again for a while after this. But yeah, as the episode continues, SpongeBob inadvertently casts a hiccup spell on himself, and this is where another Easter egg comes in. The uncontrollable hiccups SpongeBob makes throughout the scene might sound exactly like you've heard them before, and that's because the audio recordings of SpongeBob hiccups are literally reused from the episode Hiccup Plague. In Hiccup Plague from season 12, SpongeBob was afflicted with a citywide contagious hiccup outbreak, and Tom Kenny's ridiculous hiccup sounds in that episode were apparently so perfect that Pardon My Wand lifted them wholesale for this magic mission. Here's the Pardon My Wand version. And here's the Hiccup Plague version. And yeah, as you notice, they're like literally the exact same sound. Again, this might be a reference, but this might also just be the team being lazy. Tom Kenny is very old now, guys. He's aging, and honestly, if you even listen to his voice in the most recent SpongeBob movie, you can hear the age. So I imagine that they save certain sounds that he has to make so he doesn't have to redo them when he comes into the studio. That's just my theory, but who knows? As SpongeBob gleefully skips through town wielding the unruly wand, Pardon My Wand turns turns into a rapid montage of magical callbacks. For example, SpongeBob accidentally transforms a couple's boatmobile into a gigantic orange sea snake. If it seems familiar, it's because that very same slithery creature appeared in the season 14 episode Squidit Box, when Squidward's imagination turned against him. If we look at a side-by-side, I'd say that these two are the same snake. They're the same color, and yeah, I think it's the same character. But the surprises continue as SpongeBob prances past familiar locals. For example, he skips by the exact same bench from the episode Something Smells. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, I think they're the same. I mean, this old bench is drawn and placed exactly as it was in that season 2 episode, making it a little piece of SpongeBob history plunked into the background. Moments later, SpongeBob twirls past the ice cream parlor from the episode Hall Monitor. Here's another side-by-side, and it's definitely the same. And yeah, longtime viewers have seen this ice cream shop multiple times now. It's where SpongeBob caused mayhem as a Hall Monitor, and where Patrick got severe and comical sunburn back in the episode Sun Bleached. So its presence here further cements the idea that all these episodes share one connected lived-in world, a point that I've been pushing for the past couple of videos. Finally, Pardon My Wand caps off its reference parade with a brilliant deep cut. In the mayhem, SpongeBob accidentally shrinks Squidward, very similarly to the way he did back with Mermaid Man's belt. But yeah, this leaves Squidward tiny in his own garden. As if on cue, the same cockroach from the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4 appears, towering over mini Squidward and proceeding to rough him up.
Huh? Why is everything all tiny?
This is a direct homage of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4 from season 3, making for another really cool reference. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Potato Puff, but we need to go back for it to actually make any sense. Mrs. Puff, as always, is stressed out and defeated after yet another failed driving lesson with SpongeBob. So she decides to just give him a license anyways so that she doesn't have to deal with him anymore.
Mrs. Puff,
Thank you, SpongeBob. Congratulations. Have a nice life.
Now, when she gets home, if you look on the wall, there's a portrait of the exact frame on screen. This is known as a recursive image, and it's actually referenced in the opening of the season 13 episode Potato Puff. As look, there's a portrait of the exact frame going on in the episode on Mrs. Puff's wall yet again. The next episode we'll be talking about today actually features 2 Easter eggs, so let's just skip the plot summary and get right to the good stuff. The first is a SpongeBob's Last Stand reference, with this Save the Jellyfish sign being shown in the pile of rubble. Another reference is this ukulele, as it's most likely a reference to the ukulele used by SpongeBob in the episode Fun, which is another reference to an older SpongeBob episode. I love those. Let's talk about the episode SpongeBob and Patrick's Timeline Twist-Up, which is a very ambitious time travel episode that celebrates SpongeBob's history. More importantly though, this episode has a lot of Easter eggs, almost 15 different Easter eggs in one episode. So let me take a breather. And let's get into this, guys. Here's the first one. All right, so as you guys can see, we're in SpongeBob's living room right now, all right? And there's something important here. There's 2 things here that are very important, and it's these 2 pictures. They may just seem like normal, ordinary pictures, but they're actually references to classic SpongeBob episodes. This one references the season 1 episode, Jellyfishing. The photo in the frame is a literal shot from that episode. And this other one references the season 2 episode, Frankendoodle, which as many of you guys know is when we were first introduced to Doodlebob. It's really cool to see that even in season 16, there's references to season 1, 2, and 3. And there's gonna be a ton more. Let's keep it moving. Here's the next Easter egg. Take a look at this. This one is very similar to the last one, and it's very nostalgic, as there's a bunch of moments from older episodes that are shown in this book right here. This is SpongeBob's scrapbook. This moment right here is SpongeBob with the inflatable pants from the episode The Sponge Who Can Fly. Here's a side-by-side, really good reference. And this other one is showing SpongeBob and Patrick doing their iconic performance at the Bubble Bowl. This happened in season 2's Band Geeks, and here's another side-by-side. Oh, also, listen to what Grandpat says right here.
I was gonna play the stock market and invest in goofy goobers. I know who wins the Bubble Bowl.
If you heard him correctly, he actually references the Bubble Bowl, making for another reference to an iconic episode. And this next Easter egg is very similar. It has to do with a certain location that we have not seen for a very long time. Take a look at this clip. If you're confused on what's going on here, I don't blame you, as this location hasn't appeared for like over 20 years. But this place right here is the Comedy Krab, and it's a stage show where comedians perform basically. And if you remember, it's where SpongeBob performed making fun of Sandy in this clip right here from the episode Squirrel Jokes. Roll the footage.
And what's up with that squirrel fur? I guess fleas need a home too, huh?
Squirrel fur!
Now that is a really, really cool reference. It's awesome to see a location like pop up again, especially when we haven't seen it for so long. It might not seem like a big deal, but these types of things help build the world of SpongeBob when we know that there's all of these locations within Bikini Bottom. But anyways, I'm rambling, and here's the next Easter egg. Roll the clip.
Hey, Squidward, the boss is here!
Now, I wasn't entirely sure about this next one, but after watching one of my favorite episodes, Rock Bottom, I know for sure that this is a reference right here. As just like SpongeBob from the episode Rock Bottom, Squidina tries to catch up with the bus, but she can't because the road is pointing up, of course, and this prevents her from going up. But more importantly, she also falls and climbs the same exact way that SpongeBob did in Rock Bottom, as you can see in this side-by-side. So this was a very clear and direct reference. Pretty cool, and guess what, guys? I have another Easter egg. So let me explain a little bit here. A big plot point of this episode is that the events of multiple other SpongeBob episodes are pretty much rewritten by the Patrick Star family, which includes Season 1's Help Wanted, the episode Ripped Pants, the episode Rock Bottom, as I just mentioned, and the episode Neptune Spatula. And something I found really weird and interesting here is that the second half of the rewritten version of Help Wanted pretty much turns into an abridged version of the episode Plankton. For this one, you really have to watch the whole episode, and you really need to have watched Help Wanted and the episode Plankton to get this one, so I can't explain it much more. But this section of the episode actually has a whole other reference in it, and that's SpongeBob, Sandy, and Mr. Krabs' designs, as it seems that the animators went to replicate the animation style of the original episodes. For example, take a look at Patrick in this episode and how he looked in Rock Bottom or Neptune Spatula. If you look, his eyebrows are shaped like M's, but if you look at a more recent shot of Patrick, they don't look like that. They kind of changed his design in modern SpongeBob, but they went back to his OG design for this episode. The same thing goes for Sandy. If we take a look at a modern shot of Sandy from any other episode, her design looks like this. But back in SpongeBob Season 1, she looked like this. Well, during the Ripped Pants segment of SpongeBob and Patrick's Timeline Twist-Up, look at Sandy. Her suit is depicted with 3 dots, just like the old school design. And this one is like really interesting, but in the original Ripped Pants episode, there's this shot where Sandy's missing her tail, and they actually referenced this in SpongeBob and Patrick's Timeline Twist-Up. As look, even in this modern shot, they didn't draw her tail, so pretty cool. But what's also really cool are the outfits that SpongeBob and Patrick are wearing in this scene right here. You have to be like a hardcore SpongeBob fan to catch this one because it's a reference to SpongeBob Season 7, but if you guys remember, in Season 7, there was this episode, SpongeBob's Last Stand. And if you look at the clip I'm about to play you, you're gonna notice something familiar. Yeah, those are the same outfits we just saw in SpongeBob and Patrick's Timeline Twist-Up. So even 10 plus seasons later, they're still referencing this, which is very, very, very cool. And I have another reference like this that's very similar that can be found in this next scene right here. It takes place during the Rock Bottom part of the episode. This is another obscure reference, and it's to the season 11 episode Ink Lemonade, which isn't really that old of an episode, but there's still an Easter egg here. In that episode, we were introduced to this character right here, Mildred, and she actually makes her first appearance in like 7 years since 2018 in this episode. SpongeBob has been doing this a lot lately. For example, if we look at a character like Lady Upturn, she originally was like a very passive character, but she now pops up all the time. So who knows, maybe we'll see Mildred more often as well. And this reappearance might be SpongeBob building up the SpongeBob world even more, like I was suggesting earlier. But anyways, here's another Easter egg.
Next. Next.
If you're confused, some of these characters right here, this guy, we've seen them before. They're not just regular rock bottomites. If we rewind back to the season 11 episode, The Night Patty, in this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick decide to do something we haven't really seen before. After a trip at Glove World, they decide to grab a bite to eat at the Krusty Krab, but it's nighttime.
Howling rings, sucker shakes, boogers, crawly fries.
Give us the works!
One great Pacific garbage patch!
Order up!
Turns out that the nighttime attracts a completely different crowd at the Krusty Krab, including some of these guys right here. And here's a side-by-side, these characters actually appeared in the episode we're already talking about, SpongeBob and Patrick's Timeline Twist-Up. They can be seen right here in Rock Bottom, which is a fitting place for them, and yeah, it's kind of weird seeing season 11 episodes get Easter eggs now, but I mean, like, season 11's kind of old now. Like, let me check, 1 second. I'm literally gonna do a Google search, 1 second. 2019, so it's been 6 years since SpongeBob season 11. Crazy to see that we're getting Easter eggs referencing episodes from that season now. But here's another Easter egg.
All we have to do is...
I can't believe it ain't Squidina! I was just starting to remember I had a sister.
So as you guys just heard, Patrick just said, I was just starting to remember I have a sister. And if this sounds familiar, it's because Patrick has said this exact same line before. And to find it, we have to go all the way back to season 2. See, this is where I expect Easter eggs. Those seasons are old enough where I understand there being Easter eggs. But yeah, we have to go back to season 2, more specifically the episode Something Smells. As a listen, Patrick says like the exact same line in this episode.
Oh my gosh, if my sister finds out, oh wait, I don't have a sister.
It's pretty cool to hear him say the same thing like 20 plus years later, and I could ramble on about that, but we got more cool Easter eggs to cover, so here's the next one. Roll the footage.
Let's get you in bed, mister, and fix you up.
My kingly docket is incredibly full today. But I'm far too ill to complete my royal duties.
You have to be obsessed just like I am to catch that Easter egg, but if we rewind back to season 6's The Clash of Triton, we see Triton and Queen Anthreg. This is how they look, especially in that season 6 episode, Remember, as if we go back to that clip I just played, look, they're shown right here and are pictured. Now this one requires some elite ball knowledge for sure, alright? But if you watch the Patrick Star Show, a running joke from the episode Pearl Wants to Be a Star is that Patrick's grandfather, Grandpat, and Mr. Krabs have a rivalry. For example, take a look at this clip from Pearl Wants to Be a Star.
It's about time you showed up, Krabs. You know why the Navy is always late? They gotta wait for the tides to wash them ashore.
Well, during SpongeBob and Patrick's Timeline Twist-Up, we get this scene where it's literally brought up and referenced, which is really cool because this shows continuity. Roll the footage.
I hope it's not a problem working for your old frenemy.
I'm not working for you, Krabs. I'm working near you.
This is one of the biggest things I've seen in season 16 is the SpongeBob team is doing a bunch of like little things to add more continuity to the spin-offs like Camp Coral, the Patrick Star Show, the movies, etc. But yeah, here's another one. Roll the footage.
Formula acquired.
All hail the Grand Patty!
Did you guys catch it? Well, Karen's analyzer, this thing right here, is the exact same one from the episode Plankton, the season 1 episode Plankton. I love this type of attention to detail, and I mean, look at this side by side, they're nearly identical. Also, we don't need to play a clip for this, but something I want to point out, if you ever watch this episode, is if you pay attention to Karen's personality, it's a lot more in line with her earliest appearances. They've evolved her character over the years, but this episode is definitely paying a homage to the original Karen from season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And okay, there's one more for this episode, and then we can finally move over to like another episode. Can you believe they put this many Easter eggs in one episode? Considering the plot of this episode, I guess it makes sense. But anyways, I need to explain. My phone went off, but I'm gonna keep it in the video still, because I'm real. I'm not like one of those crappy AI SpongeBob channels. But yeah, I need to explain this one. But basically, a while back, there was an event called the Tidal Zone, okay? And basically, there were 3 3 episodes from SpongeBob season 13 where the Patart Star Show and the SpongeBob regular cartoon had a crossover. More specifically, Grandpat, who would go through this wormhole right here to different times.
Sweet Neptune, have I found the beginning of the universe?
Now, if you pay attention during this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick's timeline twist up, I feel like I've said that 1,000 times already, but in this episode, whenever the Star family travels through time, that exact same wormhole animation is reused. And I think this is how it's going to be forever now. I think whenever there's a time travel storyline in SpongeBob, they're always going to use this exact wormhole animation. But anyways, that one was kind of boring. Hopefully it was so boring that you're sleeping right now. You should be sleeping by now. But let's head over to another episode, guys, and I've saved some of the crazier Easter eggs for later on. That way, if you're still up, I still keep you guys entertained, all right? Here's one that you guys probably weren't expecting, but in the new SpongeBob movie, the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants, if we look at one of the promotional posters, we can see that SpongeBob and Patrick are mimicking the exact pose that Jack and Rose make in James Cameron's 1997 film Titanic. Similarly, said poster's tagline, "Near, far, wherever pirates are," is a parody of the line, "Near, far, wherever you are," from the song My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion, which was the main theme of Titanic. Hopefully we'll have more Easter eggs from this one once it comes out. Next up, we're going to talk about the episode Slumber Party Stars. And here's the thing, this is actually like technically the Patart Star Show episode, but the reference is to OG SpongeBob, and it's really, really cool. For it to make sense though, we have to go back in time a little bit, guys, and go back to the episode Sailor Mouth. Can you believe that this episode is like 20 plus years old? It's from season 2. And in this episode, we see SpongeBob and Patrick play a very specific game, Eels and Escalators.
Hooray! Escalators!
Now, this game has popped up multiple times in other episodes over the years, but even in season 16, it's still popping up. As look, in Slumber Party Stars, the die that Cecil holds up is the exact same one from Eels and Escalators. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, what a cool Easter egg, right? These ones are awesome. Another cool reference in this episode is what Patrick is seen wearing during the scavenger hunt scene. Some of you guys may be too young to catch this reference, but Patrick is actually wearing Elmer Fudd's hat. He was a character from the Looney Tunes, and here's a side-by-side, and yeah, it's like pretty much the exact same hat. But let's head over to another episode. The episode, The Creepy Krab, brings a spooky vibe to the Krusty Krab, and even its title, like the title of this episode, is actually a reference in itself. Longtime SpongeBob fans and nerds like me who need to touch grass might recall that back in season 2, there was an episode called Bossy Boots, and in this episode, SpongeBob brainstorms a bunch of new names for the Krusty Krab. And listen closely to these clips, you'll hear something familiar.
How about the chaotic crab?
How about the kissy crab?
The creepy crab. The killer crab.
As you just heard, the Creepy Krab was actually one of SpongeBob's suggestions. And you have to think how crazy it is to go back and reference this. Like, Bossy Boots is an iconic episode, but it's also like a random season 2 episode. So the fact that they went and got this reference and decided to include it in this episode is really cool. Now on the episode's plot, Slappy, who's Nosferatu's eccentric assistant for those who don't know, this guy right here, he gets hired by Mr. Krabs and decides to give the Krusty Krab a full haunted house makeover for an evening. And this is where we can find the other Easter egg, or I guess it's more of a reference. Fittingly, Slappy's friend group of monsters comes in to dine. And it's easy to miss, but each one of them is actually a nod to classic horror icons. There's Dracula, an invisible man, a Frankenstein-type creature, a gooey blob reminiscent of literally the Blob, and a howling wolfman, among others. Seeing all these familiar monster archetypes sharing Krabby Patties is a treat for any horror movie fan, and it's also just a really cool reference. And of course, I've got more. In the episode Visiting Vikings, Patrick and SpongeBob celebrate Leif Erikson Day by embarking on a time-traveling journey to the actual Viking times. Courtesy of some of Patrick-style nonsense, they wind up in the era of real Vikings, complete with long beards and Norse helmets.
Who are you? We are from the future, where you are a fearsome Viking warrior. But it looks like we got here a little early. So I guess it's up to us to mold you from Meatball Boy into a real Viking warrior.
This zany premise is itself a deep-cut reference. Leif Erikson Day has been mentioned in SpongeBob before, and this episode goes out of its way to honor that legacy. Early on, as Patrick gears up for the holiday, SpongeBob makes a special appearance wearing a traditional Viking helmet and a big red beard. It looks good on him, right? Like, what do you guys think? I think it looks good on him. But yeah, SpongeBob cheerfully exclaims, "Hinga dinga durgan." And you know what? Me saying it didn't do it justice. Play the clip of SpongeBob saying it.
Hi, SpongeBob, hi!
Happy Leif Erikson Day! Hinga dinga durgan.
Now, longtime fans should instantly recognize this costume and catchphrase from the classic Season 2 episode Bubble Buddy, as we get a very similar scene. This is 100% a reference. In Bubble Buddy's opening, SpongeBob wished everyone a happy Leif Erikson Day, and to do this, he dresses up in a very specific outfit and says something very, very specific. Roll the footage.
Hey everybody, it's Leif Erikson Day! Hinga dinga durgan.
As you guys just seen, SpongeBob dresses up as a stereotypical Viking while uttering that same goofy Norwegian phrase, Hinga dinga durgan. This is another one that's connecting the universes, as this episode, Visiting Vikings, is technically a The Patrick Star Show episode, but what was just referenced is from old school SpongeBob, thus connecting the two shows even more. I know I keep on rambling on about that, but it's clear that like Nickelodeon is being very intentional about this. I might do a whole video just on this topic. This next episode, Squirrel Jelly, has 2 Easter eggs in it. For the first one though, we have to rewind back to the episode Jellyfish Hunter. Now we haven't seen this character, who's known as Friend, for a very long time, but near the ending of Squirrel Jelly, look, he makes his first appearance in a very long time. Now the other Easter egg is related to a song, as if you listen closely in the scene I'm about to play, the song I Hate People, which is from another SpongeBob episode, SpongeBob's Place, can be heard in the background.
I can have the best of times all alone because I hate people!
One of my favorite SpongeBob episodes is Season 1's Bubble Stand, where SpongeBob and Patrick do their best to introduce Squidward to blowing bubbles. Squidward really struggles at first, and boy is it hilarious to watch. But the episode's best moment, in my opinion, is when SpongeBob rotates his body to demonstrate and repeats the sentence, "Bring it around town." I mean, come on, if you're a longtime fan, then you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. It's iconic. Well, in the opening of the episode Mimic Madness, this iconic scene is referenced, thus making for a really cool Easter egg. SpongeBob does the exact same thing and even says, "Bring it around town."
Woo! You tell him, Mr. Krabs! Bring it around town! Yeah!
In the episode we were introduced to Patart, SpongeGar, and Squog, the prehistoric counterparts to SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward. These 3 are quite the trio, and we hadn't really seen them since Season 3. Well, that is, until the Season 5 episode, Atlantis Square Pantis. In this episode, SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs, oh, and Sandy, journey to Atlantis, with Plankton secretly attending as well. And the episode turns into a bit of a musical, with everyone performing a song at one point. Now, if we pay attention during Squidward's song, we can find a few familiar characters, as SpongeGar, along with Patart and Squog, make a small little cameo. Pretty cool, huh? The character Lady Upturn was first introduced in the episode Krusty Catering, and has been quite the reoccurring character ever since, with her even being included in the SpongeBob spin-off Camp Coral, with a major role. Well, the episode Upturn Girls, an episode we already talked about today, gave Lady Upturn's character even more personality, with Lady Upturn getting her own luxury shop called Upturns. If we watch closely during this scene, we can see that an extremely rare Incidental makes their first appearance in nearly 20 years, that being the female collector, who made her last appearance in the Season 3 episode One Krabs Trash, where she wants to buy the soda drinking hat for Mr. Krabs. Talk about a long-lost character. Our next Easter egg can be found in the season 12 episode, The Nitwitting. There are actually a few found in this episode, so let's just get right into them. As SpongeBob mopily walks through this alley, there are a bunch of references to older episodes. My favorite of the bunch is this graffiti drawing of Doodlebob referencing the iconic season 2 episode, Frankendoodle. More importantly though, is this graffiti reading Squidward smells, as this is a reference to one of my personal favorite SpongeBob episodes, Sailor Mouth. There are a few other small references, but these two are definitely the best of the best. Leave a comment down below letting me know any that I missed. SpongeBob has encountered a ton of interesting pets throughout the show's 13 seasons, ranging from other pet snails to a pet worm to even a pet seahorse. Well, there's a little callback to this in the episode The Clam Whisperer, as when SpongeBob is seen following some clams, 3 classic pets can be seen drinking out of a river with straws. Larry the Snail from the season 2 episode Dumped, Rex the Worm also from the same episode Dumped, and finally Mystery the Seahorse from the episode My Pretty Seahorse. It's cool to see all of these pets show up all in one episode for one Easter egg. This next one also has to do with our favorite seahorse, Mystery. So let's skip the plot summary and get right into the Easter egg, as Mystery makes a really cool, and I mean really cool, cameo in the episode Gary and Spot, and can be seen during this dance party scene. Oh, also the classic character, Pluffy Fluffy, from the episode A Pal for Gary, you might remember it turns into a monster, also makes an appearance in this episode. It can be seen in this cage during this scene, thus making for another nostalgic Easter egg. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode The Ballad of Filthy Muck. This episode is all about Patrick going out of his way to become the most grossest and stinkiest person in all of Bikini Bottom. But more importantly, the episode also has a really cool Easter egg. If you look closely, during this scene, an ice cream sign at Glove World says glove flavor. And though this might seem like nothing, it's actually a reference to the candy glove flavor that SpongeBob literally ate in the iconic episode Rock Bottom at the location of the same name.
Ew, glove flavored.
So I guess this next one is less of an Easter egg and more of a theory. In the episode Food Con Castaways, SpongeBob and the gang find themselves lost in a random forest. Now throughout the episode, the forest isn't given an actual name, but a lot of people online speculate that this could be Kelp Forest, the same forest from the iconic Season 3 episode Club SpongeBob. We don't know for sure, but if you need some more proof, it seems the title card for Food Con Castaways is taken from a background scene of Club SpongeBob. Another cool Easter egg can be found in the episode Biddy Sitting. Well, to be honest with you guys, the entire second half of the episode is essentially an Easter egg, as it features 2 classic characters. In the episode Chocolate with Nuts, SpongeBob goes door to door with Patrick, lying to people about their magic chocolate bars, and eventually come across this dynamic duo, Incidental 87, aka Mary, and her mother. Well, Mary has shown up a few times over the years since her debut, but her mother has been absent ever since Chocolate with Nuts, that is, until a few years ago, as she plays a major role in the episode Biddy Sitting, and it is a major nostalgia trip. SpongeBob Season 5 isn't a bad season, but it definitely isn't the best. However, there is one Season 5 episode that I actually really enjoyed, and that's The Donut of Shame. This episode is very short, I think it's only like 4 or 5 minutes, but it's sweet and features a hilarious plot where Patrick panics due to accidentally eating SpongeBob's donut after a late night of partying. Well, this episode is referenced in the Season 9 episode, The Executive Treatment. It happens very fast, but during this scene, Patrick begins to freak out about the donut before, well, being insulted by Squidward. This one you kind of have to hear it for it to really make sense, so I'm going to show a clip.
But I never wanted anything so much in my whole life! Since this morning when I wanted a donut and I ate that donut, and it was great!
A lot of that donut is still on your face.
In the Season 16 episode, Exchange Student Driver, Mrs. Puff finally finds a clever, well, kind of extreme solution to get a break from SpongeBob's never-ending boating school failures. She decides to enroll him in a foreign exchange program and ships him off to a distant driving school in Clopnod. If you've heard of Clopnod before, it's because this is actually like kind of a reference. If we go back to the Patrick Star Show episode, Clopnodian Heritage Festival, we were introduced to this whole culture.
I'm so happy going to be sharing my Klopnodian culture with my family.
According to this pamphlet, Klopnod is the silliest place in the ocean.
So it's cool that that was referenced here. This is another example of them, you know, expanding the universe and connecting the spin-offs to the main show. This location has appeared tons of times in the Patart Star Show, but this was the first time it ever appeared in SpongeBob. And it kind of makes it now like 100% a canon location. But let's move on. The episode Hog Hunting follows SpongeBob and Patrick on a wild countryside adventure, tracking down Old Man Jakin's prized worm hog, a pig-like critter, after it goes missing.
You keep your hands off my beautiful Beulah!
I wasn't touching her, I was just, admiring her beauty.
Meow.
This episode dives into a ton of good humor that plays into the whole countryman stereotype. Think barnyards, beards, and backwoods shenanigans pretty much. It's a good episode. But it also hides a couple of clever pop culture parodies. One of the first gags comes when SpongeBob stumbles on Old Man Jenkins watching his favorite soap opera, Days of Our Styes. For those of you who don't know, this title is a really funny little goof referencing the long-running soap opera, Days of Our Lives. The show's writers are clearly winking at the audience here. Bikini Bottom has its own version of Days of Our Lives, only with hogs instead of people. And if that sounds familiar, it's because SpongeBob has spoofed this exact soap opera before in the episode Wary Gary. This one is a snail-focused drama called Snails of Our Lives, played on TV as a pet parody of the same series. Later in this episode, Hog Hunting treats us to a musical Easter egg that's perfectly in tune with the episode's country western vibe. SpongeBob and Patrick end up literally living in Old Man Jenkins' enormous beard for a while. Long story short, hiding from an angry Jenkins after a failed hog catching attempt. During their cozy exile in his facial hair, and sings a delightful ditty titled Home in a Beard. Take a listen, but we can't play it for too long because I'm not trying to get destroyed by copyright.
Home in a beard, where the whiskers and stubble are weird.
If the melody and theme sound old-timey to you, that's by design. Home in a Beard is a direct parody of the classic American folk song Home on the Range. The original 1972 song famously yearns for life on the open prairie, whereas SpongeBob's version yearns for, well, the comfort of living in a bristly old beard. I cannot relate. Between the soap opera spoofs and folk song parodies, Hog Hunting shows that even in jellyfish fields and barns, SpongeBob's world is never far from ours, or from its own past jokes. When Patrick's mother, Bunny, leaves the Star family home for a week in the episode Cleanin' House, she leaves to claim an inheritance in Klopnod, the location we were talking about earlier. And when she does this, chaos quickly erupts in her absence. Each member of the household is tasked with cleaning a different part of the now filthy house before their mom gets home. And it makes for a good plot, but I know what you guys are actually here for, and it's the Easter eggs, as there are a bunch of visual references and nods to SpongeBob's lore in this episode. Here's the first one, roll the clip. So as you can see right here, I'm looping it, but Patrick can be seen eating a chocolate bar. But this isn't just any old chocolate bar, guys. Take a look at it and then take a look at this scene and it might seem a little familiar.
Did you say chocolate?
Yes, sir. With or without nuts.
Yeah, that's right, guys. The chocolate that Patrick's eating at the start of this episode is the same chocolate bar from Chocolate with Nuts. Here's a side-by-side. And dude, now I'm hungry. Deep fried crabs today. This chocolate bar. I'm gonna go get some food after this. But yeah, really cool reference, guys. And here's another one. Roll the clip. Alright, so let me explain. As you can see, there are 3 disgusting cockroaches right here, and they may seem a little bit familiar to you guys, as their design resembles the one that we seen back in the episode, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4. Okay, and here's one more from this episode, and you all should right away get this reference. Roll the clip.
She says she's coming back home.
Home? We gotta get the place clean before Bunny gets back.
I ain't doing any clean it.
We'll start with your filthy mouth, Dad.
Now listen, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and no matter what, Cartoon Corey loves ya and respects ya, but if you did not catch that Easter egg, you're kind of a fake SpongeBob fan. As you guys just heard, dolphin chirps were used as replacements for curse words, which is a direct reference to the iconic episode Sailor Mouth. The Hankering, which has two really cool Easter eggs, especially if you're a big SpongeBob fan, especially if you're a fan of the older seasons. Here's the first one, and here's a little hint. This one has to do with the SpongeBob movie, the original one. Roll the footage.
Sal, I'm feeling hungry tonight. How's about another plate of chum?
That was my last plate of chum ever! I'm moving to Shell City to make it big in the pictures.
Did you guys catch it? Well, all right, Shell City, which is a location from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, is actually mentioned by Sal when he says that he moved there to become a movie star, which is really cool because the SpongeBob SquarePants movie is back in like 2004, and this is a season 12 episode. So it's awesome that the current writer still will pay homage to the older seasons and movies. And here's another Easter egg from the same episode.
Oh, come on, there's gotta be some chum in here somewhere.
Hello?
I, lost my shoe. See, found it. Okay, bye.
Now, I'm not 100% sure about this one, all right? But the shoe that Mr. Krabs digs out of the trash seems to resemble the one that Gary wears in the iconic classic episode, Your Shoes Untied. Here's a side-by-side. On the left, we got the one that Mr. Krabs digs out in the hankering, and here's what it's referencing on the other side. Really cool reference. I love Easter eggs. And guys, we've got crazier Easter eggs coming up, so let's head over to another episode. Let's take a trip back in time over to SpongeBob Season 5. This season was from all the way back in 2005, over 15 years ago, and the episode in particular is Slimy Dancing. You know, it's actually crazy that they were even doing Easter eggs this early on in the show's airing, like Season 5. Anyways though, let's get right into it. Here's the first Easter egg. I love this one. Who remembers the episode Sailor Mouth from back in the day? In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick come across sentence-enhancing spicy words, which are pretty much swears, all right? They're saying inappropriate words, and whenever they're said, we hear like this dolphin chirping sound effect. Listen for a second.
Hello, Patrick. Lovely day we're having, isn't it?
This day is particularly lovely.
Well, this is referenced in Slimy Dancing, as when Squidward starts getting the cramp, we can hear this dolphin chirp in the background, which is most likely due to him swearing due to the pain from the cramps, which is awesome. And by the way, fun fact, this was the second time the dolphin chirping swear noise was used for censorship over swearing. It hasn't actually been done since Sailor Mouth, so awesome reference to OG SpongeBob. And baby, we've got more. Let's keep it moving and head over to another episode. We're gonna be having a lot of fun today, guys, especially if you're a big fan of SpongeBob history. This next one's pretty neat. Now, I don't use the word neat often, but this one's more of like a fun fact. It's still an Easter egg, but you guys will really like this one. In the episode Buried in Time, we get a real-life city imagined by Patrick, all right? Take a look at the clip.
What do you think Bikini Bottom will be like in the future?
Wow! Special drinking fountains for short people!
I dream of a town with the perfect blend of commerce and irrigation. Not to mention the breathtaking views.
Now, fun fact, it turns out this is a real place. It appears to be Burbank, California, the home and land of Nickelodeon Animation Studios. So, like I said, fun little fact. Let's keep it moving and get back to the real Easter eggs. Another spooky episode is Curse of the Were-Doodle. This Halloween special brings back one of SpongeBob's scariest creations, Doodlebob. But honestly, Doodlebob's one of my favorite characters. Like, he's awesome. Take a look at this funny clip from his original episode. But yeah, in this episode, Curse of the Were-Doodle, SpongeBob is bitten by Doodlebob, the wicked pencil-drawn duplicate of SpongeBob from Season 2's Frankendoodle, and this transforms him into a were-doodle. This happens whenever the moonlight hits, and it's essentially a werewolf-like doodle version of himself. Take a look at this clip. As a tribute to his pencil-drawn roots, the episode is overflowing with references to Frankendoodle, and even a recent Doodlebob cameo, making it a gold mine for fans of SpongeBob lore. Once SpongeBob's Weredoodle side starts wreaking havoc, the homages come fast and furious. For example, take a look at the way the Weredoodle repeatedly body slams Mr. Krabs in this scene right here. Dude, he's just like flinging the poor crab back and forth like a rag doll. But this is a direct visual callback to Doodlebob's infamous beatdown of Squidward in Frankendoodle.
Doodleboy, stop!
Did you guys catch that? As in that 2002 episode, Doodlebob pounced on Squidward and smashed him flat in the exact same manner. This has also happened before. If we go back to the episode Squidiot Box, Doodlebob does the exact same thing. Take a look. Yeah, really cool references here, guys, and there's more. Let's keep it rolling. As the Weredoodle's next rampage moment is another scene ripped straight from Frankendoodle. As you guys just seen, the Weredoodle took that long wooden beam and turned it into a pencil by chewing on it. And longtime fans will immediately recall Doodlebob's tactic in Frankendoodle, where he grabbed the magic pencil and did the exact same thing after it snapped, complete with the same frenzied sharpening sound effects. Seeing the Weredoodle do this with an entire wooden post is a hilarious escalation of the reference. And the episode doesn't stop there. During the climax of the episode, during the chase, the Weredoodle defeats Bubble Bass by drawing a quick hole on the ground, which results in this happening to Bubble Bass. Roll the clip. This trick is a carbon copy of Doodlebob's strategy from Frankendoodle, of course, where the villainous Doodle sketched a pit to trap SpongeBob and Patrick. In Curse of the Weredoodle, the context has changed, with Bubble Bass being the unlucky victim this time. But the visual gag is an instant hole, complete with the scribbled edges and Bubble Bass's shocked expression as he drops through the hand-drawn void. This episode, Curse of the Weredoodle, is very good. So many cool Easter eggs in it. Next up, we have the episode Day of the Living Dad Jokes, and this is a The Patart Star Show episode, but the Easter egg here is really important as it somewhat impacts SpongeBob lore. Just saying that, like SpongeBob lore sounds crazy, but it is a thing. But as you guys know, about a year ago, the Sandy Cheeks movie released on Netflix, a 3D animated film that was all about Sandy Cheeks, obviously, but it also introduced a ton of new characters from her family. Now, I've mentioned this in a previous video, but something that the SpongeBob creators have been doing lately is they've been bringing the SpongeBob universe together. So for example, characters introduced in their spin-off projects, so characters introduced in like the Patart Star Show or the Sandy Cheeks movie or the Plankton movie, etc., they've been appearing in regular SpongeBob. And that's what we're going to be talking about here, as this episode marks the first time that we've ever gotten to see her relative, Paw Cheeks, this guy right here, who before this we've only ever seen him 3D animated, but in this episode it's the first time we get to see the character in traditional SpongeBob animation. So yeah, a quick one, but it's really cool, and roll the clip.
Hey, Sandy, what does a bee use to comb his hair? Honeycomb!
In the episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, SpongeBob develops amnesia after running away from Bikini Bottom and eventually finds himself in New Kelp City. This place is very similar to New York, and believe it or not, SpongeBob actually becomes mayor of this place. However, due to him having amnesia and forgetting his name, he goes by a new name.
It will always be safe to blow bubbles on the streets of New Kelp, or my name isn't Jesus Brown Pants.
Well, this is actually referenced in the season 7 episode One Course Meal, when Plankton literally refers to SpongeBob as Cheesehead.
What you doing laying in the middle of the road?
Go away, Cheesehead! Can't you see I'm trying to get run over?
In the season 6 episode, Krabby Road, Plankton creates an entire band just to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. Now, it's a good episode with some great moments. And if we watch closely during the episode's opening, we can spot an interesting season 3 Easter egg. In the episode No Weenies Allowed, SpongeBob struggles to get into a new bar called the Salty Spittoon due to it only accepting the toughest of the toughest fish. SpongeBob is forced to wait in line with some of these tough fish, but this isn't the last time we've seen them. In the opening of the season 6 episode Krabby Road, they make their return, thus making for a fun little season 3 reference. They're in jail now, so I wonder what they did. Season 12 has some hit or miss episodes, episodes, most of them are pretty good, and one of the good ones is Who Are Zoo, an episode where SpongeBob and Patrick create their own zoo made entirely out of bubbles. Pretty cool, I wish I could do that. This episode has 2 Easter eggs, let's get right into it. Here's the first one, keep those eyes peeled so it really makes sense. Now here's the thing for this one, if you got it, then you've watched a lot of SpongeBob, as it's a very specific reference that you'll only get if you watched the classic episode, The Thing. In this episode, Squidward gets covered in cement, and then everyone starts to think that he's some sort of creature. Of course, it's just Squidward covered in cement, but it gets so bad that the SWAT team comes in because of Patrick, and they take him to the zoo. More importantly though, they keep them in this new area known as the Species Unknown area, since they don't know what Squidward is. Well, this Species Unknown area, which only ever appeared in The Thing, can actually be seen in this episode in the background over here, which is an awesome reference. And this one is a clear reference. Like, the Species Unknown area, habitat area in the zoo has not been there since The Thing, so I love this one. Really cool reference. And there's another one that's really gonna warm your heart if you're an old school SpongeBob fan. Look at this.
Hello, folks. Please leave all your sharp objects at the gate. Okay, Grandpa, spread them.
Yeah, I love this one too. A pencil that resembles the magic pencil from the Frankendoodle episode. You know, the episode with Doodlebop. Here's a quick clip.
Aw, look at him. Ain't he a doll? Ready for action!
Whack! Whack!
And the episode Doodle Dimension. Here's another quick clip.
SpongeBob!
Patrick, I'm right here. Aw, isn't he cute?
Yeah, that pencil is among the many items seen in the live action close-up of Old Man Walker's box over here, which is awesome. I love Frankendoodle. They need to bring Doodlebop back again. Actually, wait, they did in season 14. I almost forgot. Actually, as a matter of fact, let's cover that episode. It has a really cool Easter egg in it. Now, I'm gonna get into the Easter eggs, but I really want you guys to take a look at some of these hilarious moments from this episode. It's a really good one, and then we'll get right into the Easter eggs.
Hey, my imagination box. I wonder if it still works. Oh boy, it's time for imagination.
Dude, season 14 so far has been pretty tight. I'm into it. You can see there's improvements being made. There's still some stinky episodes, but this one was a good one with lots of references. Here's the first one. You've probably seen some of them in the funny moments compilation we just did, but here are these awesome Easter eggs I was talking about.
Get off my sand! What's happening?
Inside my imagination box, Squidward must be lost.
Lost in his own
Imagination.
So this one's simple. Pretty much, this entire episode is a sequel to the iconic episode Idiot Box. I mean, as you guys just saw, SpongeBob even does his iconic imagination animation, which is really cool. Also, here's a really fun one right here. As we learn in this episode, Squidward's imagination is the most active out of everyone's, which is why he's able to re-energize the box. By the way, we learn in this episode that the magic-like box is powered by people's imagination, and Squidward's imagination is so powerful he can recharge the thing. And this seems to directly tie in with the original episode, as if you think about it, in the end, Squidward ended up having the most fun in the box, and then he's taken away by a garbage dump, you know, in the original episode. But Squidward has the most fun with it, so it makes sense that his imagination would be the strongest. I'm rambling. There's another reference in this episode. Roll the footage.
Finally, a place with culture.
So back in the episode Mind the Gap, we were introduced to the Jazz Club, all right? And what's really important here is I want you to take a look at all of the patrons inside of it from the original episode Mind the Gap. Take a look at everybody inside, as some of these exact same people appear multiple seasons later in Squidward Box when this episode returns to the Jazz Club. So really fun reference right here. Like, here's a side-by-side of some of the characters appearing. Love references like this. And let's keep it moving. We've got more Easter eggs coming up, baby. baby, let's go. Next up is Squid Defense, and this one has a really weird Easter egg. Before we get into that though, I want you to take a look at some of these funny moments of Squidward learning karate. It's hilarious. We're gonna get right into the Easter egg afterwards, so stay tuned.
It is me, a big scary miscreant.
Take this! Hee-yah! Think that's gonna stop me? Hee-yah!
Okay, it's Easter egg time, baby. Roll the footage. This one's very obscure.
Come on, Squiddy, give it the old roundhouse.
All right. Hi-yah!
So this right here is the Slug Buddy punching bag, all right? It might seem like an insignificant background object or something like that. It first appeared back in the episode The Great Snail Race. In this clip right here, take a look.
Come on, Gary, move it. Up, down, faster, go.
It then appeared later on in the episode The Way of the Sponge when SpongeBob is trying to get his black belt. Take a look at this clip. And this is where the Easter egg comes in, as it just randomly appears in Squid Defense in this scene. I already showed you guys the scene, but there it is, the Slug Buddy punching bag right there. Really cool that it reappeared again randomly in this scene. They could have used any punching bag, but I don't think it's a coincidence that they used this one with this design. It's 100% a callback. Here's another nostalgic one from an older episode, a much older episode. The reference can be found in the more recent episode though, Patart Squid, and it has to do with a certain garden. Here, take a look at this.
More large, please.
Did you catch it? Cause it's a special one. So back in the episode Truth or Square, as you guys seen, Squidward gets his garden, all right? And he loves this thing. And look, in Patart Squid, it reappears during this scene, which I love. I love that for my boy Squidward getting his garden back. Let's head over to Gary and Spot, and it references a classic episode from season 2, that being the episode Dumped. In this episode, SpongeBob gets his little heart broken when his pet snail, Gary, wants to spend more time with Patrick than himself. So, to try and make little Gary jealous, SpongeBob gets a new pet snail named Larry, who is not only a lot uglier, but a lot meaner too. Like, this snail just sucks. At one point, SpongeBob lets him sleep in his own bed and he just ruins his bed. Now, since the episode Dumped, Larry has pretty much disappeared from the series, but he did pop up recently in the form of an Easter egg, as when Gary frees all of the creatures from the animal shelter in the episode Gary and Spot, Larry is one of them, thus making for a fun little callback to the show's second season, one of my favorite seasons. Next up is the episode Gorilla Suit Day, another one from season 16. I've been covering tons of new episodes in this video, just saying, so please subscribe. But if you're a true SpongeBob fan, the episode name Gorilla Suit Day should already kind of give you an idea of one of the Easter eggs here. But like I said, you gotta be a hardcore SpongeBob fan. But we'll get there. So the premise itself of this episode is really fun. On the annual Gorilla Suit Day, SpongeBob dons a full-body gorilla costume, and with Patrick's help, plans to prank the whole town. Right from SpongeBob's morning routine, the episode starts referencing classic SpongeBob moments. For one, when SpongeBob wakes up, he excitedly checks a giant calendar on his bedroom wall. And this itself is a reference, as if we rewind back to the season 1 episode Boating School, take a look at this scene.
This is it, Gary. The big boating exam is today. I've never felt so capable!
Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, those are the two exact same calendars. So a cool Easter egg there again, but let's keep it moving. SpongeBob then enthusiastically swings on a vine and launches himself into the calendar to mark the date, which is also another direct homage to Boating School, as you guys just saw. The only difference this time, and I'm showing it side-by-side and looping them, is that he's imitating Tarzan instead of using his bed as a catapult. And here's another fun fact for you guys about this episode. As you heard, SpongeBob did like a Tarzan-like roar just now. And funnily enough, the sound clip that was used for this is actually a recycled clip, as listen to this scene from the episode Who Are Zoo. Yeah, the animators or the editors were feeling kind of lazy and they used the exact same sound effect and recycled it in this episode. Also, the whole gorilla suit thing seems to be somewhat of a reference to the episode I Had an Accident, as at the end of that episode, Patrick dresses up in a gorilla outfit. We're not done with this one yet though. As SpongeBob struts around in his gorilla outfit, eagle-eyed viewers might notice a familiar design. The gorilla suit he wears looks identical to the one he briefly tried on in the season 6 episode Boating Buddy. Except in this episode, the fur is gray rather than brown. In my opinion, guys, I think that this one's a reach, but if you were to go on like the SpongeBob Reddit, I've seen people debating if this is an Easter egg, so don't blame me, I'm just presenting it to you. Later, when SpongeBob tears apart the house in a panic because he gets stuck in the suit and starts being mistaken for a real gorilla, he starts searching for his trusty spatula. And listen closely as he calls it something specific.
Spatty? Spatty!
As you heard, SpongeBob referred to his spatula calling it Spatty. And if we listen to how SpongeBob refers to his spatula in an older episode, Spatula of the Heavens, listen, he calls it the same thing.
My spatula's broken, Mr. Krabs. I can't make Krabby Patties without Spatty!
This episode also adds to a running gag about Mr. Krabs and deep fryers. Unfortunately for our favorite Krab over here, there have been numerous instances in older episodes where Mr. Krabs has just straight up gotten deep fried. For example, take a look at this clip from the episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob.
Mr. Krabs, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Ouch, that definitely hurt. And it happened again in the episode Mermaid Pants. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling pretty hungry now, but that's not what we're here for, as this gag of Mr. Krabs getting deep fried was actually referenced in Gorilla Suit Day. As take a look at this scene.
You can't fry me. I'm not even better. I hate Gorilla Suit Day.
Hey, at least it happens off camera this time, but that sounded like it really hurt. Turns out though that Mr. Krabs isn't the only person to get hurt in this episode. For one more final meta gag or reference, Squidward ends up getting physically squashed by a rampaging real gorilla that appears, which is a callback to the episode I mentioned earlier, I Had an Accident, where something very similar happens. By the end of the episode, the town is in chaos, but fans are treated to a treasure trove of references. From SpongeBob's calendar shenanigans to Mr. Krabs getting deep fried, this episode's a good one with lots of Easter eggs. I recommend it. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Squirrel Jelly, but it revolves around the season 1 episode, Jellyfish Hunter. This episode is pretty messed up, with Mr. Krabs sending SpongeBob to collect jellyfish jelly so he can sell it as a condiment at the Krusty Krab. Mr. Krabs completely abuses the situation and creates a factory for the jellyfish. It's really sad. One of the characters we're introduced to in this episode is Friend, aka No Name, a larger jellyfish that SpongeBob has a bond with. Now, since Jellyfish Hunter, we haven't seen this character. However, in the episode Squirrel Jelly, near the end of the episode, Friend can be seen in the background, thus making for an awesome reference or callback to an iconic episode. So in the season 13 episode, There Will Be Grease, Plankton and Mr. Krabs are forced to work together after discovering a well of miracle grease under their restaurants. They both have their own intentions with the grease. Mr. Krabs wants to use it to improve the Krusty Krab menu, while one of Plankton's uses would be to use the grease as lube for killer robots. And if you're a true SpongeBob fan, you'll notice that the robot shown in the thought bubble is Plankton's tank robot, the exact same one that appeared in the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. Talk about a cool callback. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Bottle Burglars, and it references the iconic Season 2 episode Frankendoodle. In this episode, SpongeBob and Squidward accidentally let Plankton slip away with the coveted Krabby Patty secret formula. So as you can imagine, the episode is primarily focused on the not-so-dynamic duo trying to retrieve it. Well, spoiler alert, they do, and the episode has a happy ending. But if we watch closely, when Squidward turns on the Krusty Krab security footage, a drawing of Doodlebob can be seen on the bottom of the table, referencing both Frankendoodle and Doodle Dimension. In the Season 2 episode, Survival of the Idiots, SpongeBob and Patrick overhear a dream Sandy has about fighting two very popular Western criminals, Dirty Dan and Pinhead Larry, and eventually take on both personas as they play cowboys and bandits.
All right, Pinhead, your time is up.
Who you calling Pinhead?
Now this eventually results in both Pinhead Larry and Dirty Dan getting their butts absolutely handed to them, like they get their butts kicked and presumably killed, thus giving us these two gravestones with the names Pinhead Larry and Dirty Dan on them. Well, these gravestones are referenced in the episode Shopping List, as both can be seen during this scene, thus making for a heartwarming little Easter egg for all of the longtime fans like myself. So this next one is a bit of a deep cut, so get ready, as what the episode references is very subtle. I didn't even realize it at first. In the episode Ghost Host, the Flying Dutchman realizes that he's lost his scary mojo. So to try and sharpen his skills, he tries to scare both SpongeBob and Squidward. It doesn't go very well, but during one of his attempts to scare SpongeBob, he transforms into this big red bug thing. And honestly, since this episode, we haven't really seen it since, but it seems that this exact transformation is referenced in the episode Ink Lemonade, as during this scene, where Squidward first enters the creepy nursery, there is a picture of this exact same big red bug that the Flying Dutchman turned into on the wall, thus making for, like I said, a really deep cut in terms of Easter eggs. Like, the Flying Dutchman transforms 50 plus times in Ghost Host, so it's interesting that they chose this one to reference in particular. One of my favorite SpongeBob episodes is Season 3's Just One Bite. In this episode, Squidward tastes his very first Krabby Patty, and though he lies and claims to hate them at first, by the end of the episode, we find out the truth. SpongeBob reveals that there is a patty vault hidden in the Krusty Krab that contains hundreds of Krabby Patties, and in the ending scene, we see Squidward break into this place to get his fix. Now, aside from this episode, we haven't really seen the patty vault since. However, it does appear in the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 6 in the form of an Easter egg. It's only on screen for a short amount of time, but it can be found during this scene. The next Easter egg on this list comes from the Season 5 episode, To Love a Patty. This episode focuses on SpongeBob falling in love with a Krabby Patty. SpongeBob is so in love with this Krabby Patty that he saves the burger from being eaten. But take a look at the person who is about to eat the Krabby Patty. Does he look familiar to you? Well, if you're a true SpongeBob veteran, he should. This is the same fish who briefly appears in the episodes Shanghai and Krabbyland. The next Easter egg on this list comes from the episode Picture Day. In this episode, SpongeBob is trying his best to look good for his boating school picture. However, things aren't really going in the poor guy's favor. At the end of the episode, we see the picture that ends up being taken, but you may be wondering why all the other pictures are, well, humans and not fish or SpongeBob characters. Well, that's because what you're looking at is actually the creator of SpongeBob, Stephen Hillenburg's yearbook, and Stephen Hillenburg's picture is replaced with SpongeBob's. Our next Easter egg can be found in the Season 13 episode, Upturn Girls. I know we've covered it a lot recently, but this Easter egg is really cool and new, but it is a little complicated, so pay attention. In the episode, Squeaky Boots, it's Pearl's birthday. So we learn about flipper slippers, new shoes that are a bit of a fad amongst teenagers, and seem to be especially popular with young girls. Pearl wanted these for her birthday, she doesn't get them, but all of her friends wear them, and we know that Pearl really likes these and really like shoes. Well, it seems that these shoes are referenced in the episode Upturn Girls, as when Pearl and Narlene enter the shoe area, there is a poster on the wall for what seems to be new, updated, or evolved versions of the shoes. I know this for sure because at one angle, we can see at the bottom that the shoes are by Flipper. And like I said, the shoes that they're referencing are called Flipper Slippers.
Don't forget my new Flipper Slippers, Daddy.
Definitely a really cool Easter egg here. Whoever wrote this episode, this is a really cool one. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Welk Attack, and it's pretty cool as it references one of my favorite older SpongeBob episodes, Suds. In this episode, a herd of large sea whelks invade Bikini Bottom, causing all sorts of problems. Why are they invading, you may ask? Well, it turns out that the Welks are sick, as explained by Sandy near the end of the episode. Now, during this scene, SpongeBob compares the Welks' sickness to SUDS, the same illness SpongeBob had to deal with all the way back in the Season 1 episode titled, well, SUDS.
I know just what to do. After all, I've had the SUDS. I just have to absorb the Welk snot, and they'll return to normal.
The episode SpongeBob's Last Stand is all about SpongeBob and Patrick protesting the demolition of their favorite Bikini Bottom location, Jellyfish Fields. Now, at one point, we see a parade celebrating the construction of the Shelly Superhighway. And if you're a true SpongeBob fan, you'll notice that the band of the parade is wearing the exact same outfits as Squidward's band in Band Geeks, thus making for another interesting little Easter egg. I love these season 1, 2, or 3 callbacks. They're the best. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Suction Cup Symphony. This episode is all about Squidward writing his very own symphony. Now, during this scene, just as Squidward finally finishes writing his song, he has the same look on his face that he had in the episode Squid's Day Off, during the scene where he locked himself inside his house. Oh, also, it isn't necessarily an Easter egg, I guess, but the fish playing the piano in this episode is actually the same fish that SpongeBob sits next to at Reef Cinema in the episode Something Smells. As most of you know, Squidward is an artist, so it's no surprise that one of his old paintings is referenced in Season 6. The painting in particular are his 483 self-portraits first seen in the episode Gone, and they appear when SpongeBob is having tea with Squidward in the episode Not Normal. Another reference can be found as SpongeBob and Patrick are belly sliding through town. As they go off a ramped truck, Oyster Stadium can be seen for the first time in a while as they are falling. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Boating Buddies. In this episode, instead of a typical SpongeBob boating school episode, is all about Squidward attending boating school after getting a ticket. As you can imagine, this was all SpongeBob's fault, of course. But luckily for him, SpongeBob decides to help out, eventually leading us to this scene where Squidward does his driving exam. For a few frames, the rare incidental character Granny appears, thus making her first appearance since her debut episode, Have You Seen This Snail? Superstition. And this is a Season 16 episode. In this one, Friday the 13th comes to Bikini Bottom. And as you guys know, Friday the 13th is the day where everybody is supposed to get bad luck. It's a superstition, and Mr. Krabs is terrified of this.
Oh, no, 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 no! An indoor whistle brings luck's dismissal!
Yeah, Mr. Krabs needs to take a chill pill. Like, this guy is just, he's too much sometimes. Like, imagine Mr. Krabs being your boss. Not only do you have to deal with this type of nonsense, but also, this dude barely even pays SpongeBob, and as we've seen in previous episodes, SpongeBob barely gets any time off of work. This episode just came out, so I don't want to spoil it, so let's get right into the Easter egg. I'm gonna play the clip, and let's see if you guys can find it.
Ahoy, Mr. Krabs! Your morning cup of tea coming right up.
I imagine that a lot of you guys missed it, so let me explain, right? You know how it was going on before about Mr. Krabs being a lame boss? Well, if we rewind all the way back to the episode Stuck on the Roof, despite being a terrible boss over the years, we see that Mr. Krabs has this #1 boss mug right here. This thing right here, I'm highlighting it. But yeah, it's been quite some time since we've seen this mug. It only appeared in this episode Stuck on the Roof, which is a Season 11 episode, so it's pretty old by now. However, the mug randomly appeared in the form of an Easter egg in this episode we're talking about, Superstition. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, that's a really cool Easter egg. Also, it kind of shows you how long it's been since Season 11. We used to refer to SpongeBob Season 11 as modern SpongeBob, but it's 10 years old now. So if you really think about it, these episodes like Stuck on the Roof are starting to become quote-unquote classics, but yeah. Okay, so we just talked about a bunch of Season 16 episodes, but let's switch up the flow a little bit. Our next episode is called The String. And before we get into the Easter eggs, let's do a little plot summary. This episode begins with SpongeBob cooking Krabby Patties until he sees a loose thread on Squidward's shirt. SpongeBob decides to pull the string and ends up pulling it for so long that it leaves Squidward naked.
Someone order a rusty cam!
Crab.
I like string.
Congratulations.
And this is where the episode pretty much goes from here. SpongeBob continues unraveling things until every Bikini Bottomite is pretty much annoyed, especially Squidward, who always ends up having his clothes unraveled by the string. This all goes on until the end of the episode, where Patrick eventually uses the string as dental floss, thus ending the episode. But just as the episode ends, there's a huge Easter egg. If we go back to the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie, there's this fisherman right here. And we haven't seen him since that movie, but at the very end of the string, he makes his first reappearance in a long time. Back in the classic episode, Chocolate with Nuts, SpongeBob and Patrick struggle with their newly founded door-to-door chocolate bar business. That is, until they come across this Barnacle Chips billboard, which inspires them to be a little more business savvy. Well, it actually inspires them to start lying to people, but yeah, well, as crazy as it sounds, this billboard has popped up quite a few times over the years as an Easter egg, with its most recent appearance being in the episode Teacher's Pests. Don't get me wrong, this is totally a really cool Easter egg, but I do find it funny that it's just a simple billboard. Nonetheless, I love classic references like these, so I hope to see it again in the future.
Eat barnacle chips. They're delicious.
They are most certainly not delicious.
Not the way I use them.
One of my favorite classic or iconic SpongeBob episodes is Season 3's Krusty Krab training video, an episode that parodies fast food training videos from the 90s and does a very good job at doing so. Now, as a kid, I absolutely loved this episode, so I was really happy when it got referenced in the episode Appointment TV. In this episode, a rare episode of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy is going to air on TV, and SpongeBob wants to record it. So at one point of the episode, we see him set up his VHS to record, and he looks at his tape collection to tape over a tape and record the show. And it seems that one of these tapes is the Krusty Krab training video, thus making for a really heartwarming and cool Easter egg.
Sounds like a lot of...
Hoopla!
Sounds like a lot of...
Hoopla!
Sounds like a...
Hoopla! Hoopla!
In the episode Nasty Patty, another classic SpongeBob episode, this episode is a banger. SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs are confronted by a health inspector who wants to try everything on the menu to see if everything is up to the health code. This guy's name is Health Inspector Yellowtail Andy, and to be honest, we haven't seen him much since this episode. He has appeared a few other times, but he's usually a different color, but recently in the episode A Place for Pets in Season 13, he made a big return, and he looks how he used to look, the way he looks in Nasty Patty. This was a really cool reference, and it's awesome to see such an iconic character return to the show, even though it was a fairly minor cameo. But anyways, here's a clip of both appearances with audio.
I'm going to need you to bring me one of everything on the menu.
Fresh sludge pudding.
More diet red tie.
Some fried
Please, gentlemen! Leave me to finish my work in peace.
Hold it right there, Krabs.
Oh no! The health inspector!
Oh yes, the health inspector.
In the episode Wet Painters, SpongeBob and Patrick are tasked by Mr. Krabs to clean the inside, or well, paint the inside of Mr. Krabs' house, at the cost of their behinds if anything other than the wall gets painted on. Well, spoiler alert, something other than the wall does get painted on, and that's Mr. Krabs' iconic first ever dollar. Now in the end, everything works out when we find out that the paint can just be removed with a little bit of saliva. Plot twist. But after this episode, Mr. Krabs' first dollar has kind of gone missing. We haven't really seen it since. That is, until the episode Bottle Burglars. As in this episode, the dollar is one of the objects that SpongeBob cleans on cleaning day. He actually ruins it. He scrubs it so hard that it turns into a quarter and then a penny before it completely disappears. But don't worry, SpongeBob just replaces it with a random $1 bill from his pocket, and Mr. Krabs never even notices. But talk about a cool Easter egg.
This paint actually comes off with saliva.
You told us the paint was permanent, so me and Patrick would be more careful and not get paint on anything.
Nah, I just like to mess with you.
Aw, Mr. Krabs' first dollar. How many what?
Don't forget to clean the safe, boys.
The character, Flats the Flounder, made multiple appearances in early seasons of SpongeBob. For example, Sandy's Rocket, Texas, but most notably The Bully, where he plays a major role, where he pretty much wants to kick SpongeBob's butt throughout the entire episode just for sitting beside him and saying, hey, poor SpongeBob. Now, since The Bully, he hasn't had very many appearances. He has appeared a few times, but it has been fairly limited. That was until the episode Don't Feed the Clowns, as he's actually a customer of the bakery who gets knocked out by getting hit with a pie. Talk about a cool reference. It's nice to see Flats the Flounder back in action again, especially in a more recent episode.
SpongeBob! I can't believe you beat up a new student. I'm going to kick your butt!
In the episode, Captain Pipsqueak, Plankton comes up with the ultimate plan to join the League of Evil so that he can take over the world and, of course, steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. Well, in order to do this, Plankton has to do an addition, and during this scene, we see numerous villains from previous episodes show up for an addition as well. And boy, oh boy, does it make for an epic scene full of references. First up is Dennis from the first SpongeBob movie. Then there's this guy, a thug who steals the Patty Wagon, also from the first movie, Dr. Negative, Squidward's villain counterpart from the episode Mermaid Pants, really good episode by the way. There's also Madame Hagfish, the Earworm, Robot Mantis, Nosferatu, Gordon the Viking, Dorsal Dan, and my favorites, the Strangler from the episode Tattletale Strangler, and Doodle Bob from the episode Frankendoodle. That is like 12 to 13 references in one scene. Crazy.
Dude, sign in and wait your turn.
Get out of the car, fellas!
Take all your money and put it in the bag.
No, Mr. Bob, I expect you to fry.
When the full moon rises.
I am the Strangler. I'm the Strangler.
What is this?
To be or line?
In the episode Mermaid Man vs. SpongeBob, the Krusty Krab introduces a new promotional item that collaborates with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, known as the Krusty Kids Meal. This thing even comes with a Mermaid Man toy, so you know that the superhero duo's biggest fan, SpongeBob, got his hands on one. Well, we know for sure now after the episode Appointment TV, as in the episode's intro, SpongeBob has one of the Krusty Kids Meals on his shelf. Talk about a true collector. So I'll admit that this last one is a little bit iffy, but in the episode Just One Bite, we see SpongeBob throw on these spicy reading glasses as he pages through a dictionary. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is a direct reference or not, but it seems that SpongeBob wears these exact same glasses in the episode Stanley S. SquarePants. I don't know for sure, but they're pretty much identical, like they are identical. Leave a comment though. Do you think they're the same glasses? And do you think that this is a direct Easter egg? Leave a comment. Now that's gonna do it for today's video, guys, but if you want more SpongeBob Easter eggs, click this video right here. Click this video and I'll see you guys over there. Peace.